Hello everyone, welcome to Aisha's Kitchen. If you know me, you know I've been wanting to make this channel for the longest time ever now. So I'm really excited to share my very first recipe with you guys. It's going to be this delicious salmon Alfredo. So if you want to learn how to make it, continue watching the rest of this video. So these are all the ingredients for my salmon. I'm going to also put the ingredients in the description below. Here I am squeezing about 1/4 of a medium-sized lemon evenly on all 3 pieces of my salmon. I also noticed that I don't need the second slice of the lemon, so I'm going to put that to the side. Now I'm going to evenly add about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and if you want to add more or less salt, that's completely up to you. Next I'm going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of crushed black pepper, and again, for any of the seasonings, if you want to add more or less, that's completely up to you. Next I'm going to add enough paprika to cover my salmon to give it some color, and then I'm going to add some garlic, and then I'm going to add some complete sazon. And if you don't have that seasoning, that's okay, just go ahead and skip that step. Next, I'm gonna pat and rub all the seasonings into my salmon, and I'm just rubbing all the excess lemon juice from the plate to the sides of my salmon. And after that, I'm going to sprinkle some parsley to garnish. And I know I didn't season the sides and the back of my salmon, but that's okay because the Alfredo sauce will have lots of flavor. And honestly, don't worry, the salmon won't taste bland on its own either. Next, I'm gonna wrap my salmon in plastic wrap, and I'm gonna let it marinate for about 2 hours in the fridge. After I took my salmon out the fridge, I let it sit out for about 15 minutes so it can come to room temperature, and I sprayed some cooking oil on the salmon so it can have a nice golden color as it bakes. Now onto the ingredients for my Alfredo sauce. Here is 1/2 chopped onions, and then I also have about a cup of mild cheddar cheese. I really want to use Parmesan cheese, but since I didn't have any, I decided to settle with this. I also have 1/4 of those block cream cheese to add a little bit of creaminess to the sauce, as well as some flavor, of course. Next, I have about 1 tablespoon of Cajun seasoning, and I have 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I don't want to add too much salt because I'll also be adding about 4 cups of this chicken broth, which has a lot of salt already, and also the cheeses and the Cajun seasoning have salt. So as you cook, just taste to see if you need to add more salt or not. Next, we have 16 ounces of heavy whipping cream. I'll also be adding about a tablespoon of the minced garlic, and then I have a bag of frozen broccoli that I steamed in the microwave. And last but not least, my choice of pasta is fettuccine. Now I'm adding about a tablespoon of oil, and in this oil I'm gonna put the onions, the garlic, and I'm going to add the Cajun seasoning, and I'm just gonna saute those together. Now I'm adding about 4 cups of chicken broth, and in this broth I'm going to add my pasta. I like to cook my pasta in the chicken broth instead of water because I feel like it allows more flavors to seep into the pasta. And once I add the pasta, I'll let it boil for about 10 minutes. But in those 10 minutes, I'm going to check in on my pasta to see if it's soft enough for me to push the rest of the pasta into the broth. Okay, it's been about 4 minutes. Now I'm going to push the rest of the pasta into the broth so it can all cook evenly. Now after about 3 to 4 minutes, I'm going to add my heavy whipping cream and mix it in with everything, and I will let that sit for about another 3 minutes. And after the 3 minutes, I'm going to add all my cheeses and the salt into the pasta. After all the cheeses melt, I'm gonna add my steamed broccoli to the pasta and let it cook for another 5 minutes to allow the sauce to thicken up. And after the 5 minutes, I'm gonna turn the stove off and let everything sit for maybe another 3 minutes, and this will also help the sauce to thicken up. Also, while I was cooking this pasta, I had my salmon in the oven on 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes, and after I took the salmon out, this is what it looked like. Okay everyone, so my pasta is done. I hope if you try this recipe you enjoy it, and if you didn't enjoy it, please give me some suggestions because I'm always willing to learn something new. Thank you everyone so much for watching my video.